Hi, this is Mauvu doing your feedback. If you have any questions, just ping me in your thread. Um, just like just like a minor thing related to efficiency, you should be able to tell here that there's 100% or like 0% chance that the BT's here. So you don't need to like actually get to 99. Yeah, I don't really like how you're going about this mapless here. So like once you get the direction, you kind of want to do slightly slower scans so you can like pinpoint the exact or like kind of pinpoint the exact like line of chunks that the BT is in. It's like you know it's like somewhere over where you're running, right? But it seems like you weren't precise enough to distinguish whether it's in this chunk line or the chunk line over to the right. Yeah, it's just this chunk in front of you. Yeah. Oh, yeah, maybe your hardware's a little bit doesn't load in quickly or something. And if that's the case, you also would want to scan more slowly. Like, obviously you want to do your initial scans quickly to like check for BTs quickly, but yeah, scanning more slowly, like from left to right and then right to left to like get both sides of the chunk boundaries uh, is important. And then I mean, this is just not a good decision at all going for these trees. Like, you're climbing like Mount Everest to get to these trees when there were like some over here that are closer to the ocean anyway. Like, you'd get to them faster, and it's closer to the ocean. Like, why are we going all the way up here? It's just like, I guess, it's just like, as far as like actual physical distance between you and the trees, those were the closest, but it's not about how far away something is, it's about how much time it takes you to get there. Um, so a little bit of like inventory management before doing all your crafting. It's especially on like a coastal seed where you can just go in one direction towards the ocean. It's I like to just throw out like some useless stuff from my hotbar before doing the crafting so that more of the stuff I'm crafting is gonna go into free slots in my hotbar. Then like you're probably gonna have multiple things that would go into your inventory here that you would want on your hotbar, whereas you could have thrown out 9 dirt and the 4 spruce saplings. I guess actually, yeah, it fits all perfectly actually, but yeah, now you don't have a slot to have the iron ingots in, which I saw you put them here when like if you think about it, you want them on your hotbar so that you don't have to clear it out later to make space for the flint and steel. Because if you've got one iron on your hotbar when you bookcraft FNS later, that iron is going to automatically get dragged into the crafting grid, and then the flint and steel is going to have a free slot in your hotbar every time in the same slot as your iron, so you can like pre-sort where your flint and steel is going to go. So yeah, I didn't mention throwing out gold pressure plate because it's just a useful like throwable gold item like in bastion routes. I know you have like some gold ingots as well, but if we enter and then we spawn in like bottom housing, you don't want to waste time putting those gold ingots on your hotbar. like when you could have already just had the gold pressure plate, right? Um, okay, so as far as building portals in places like this, generally just if it's like a decent sized cave, just bridge out from the obsidian. Like you place a dirt water on the side of that dirt, and you've got a like clear portal frame to build in instead of, and then like this, you've got to mine like 6, 7 cobblestone, like or like stone to like place your lava. Like building the portal, even if it's a little bit awkward to place down the water and stuff, building it in like a an open space is just a lot better than normal. Um, yeah, I just recommend butt crafting the FNS. It's just less inputs to like mess up, and if you get fast at it, it's just faster as well, in my opinion. Like I don't really have like a specific reasoning for it, but like it just feels faster for me at least. So I doubt it's going to be like significantly slower for anyone. And then like yeah, less inputs is a less opportunity to mess up, right? Right. Let's just rewatch this. FDC, nice. Did we check for spawner? Yes. Green pie. I'm not that big a fan of it because when you're um, when you're going down render distance, you have to keep refreshing it to see when the spawner unloads. Whereas if you're on the normal pie chart, you can see the blue slice to starts like decreasing, so you don't have to keep spamming like Shift F3F. Like it's just like a quality of life thing, really. But yeah, if you're fine with green pie, it's not a problem. Or like the use of thin macro to UA. So a little bit of, especially in forest biomes, a lot like some terrain stuff, is you generally want to try and like place the blocks on the side of the trees or on the side of the, I think it's called Crimson Nylium. I don't really know. But yeah, you place your blocks on the side of it to do head hitters and stuff, like instead of just sprint jumping. So no higher quality. Maybe it's just the nether bit, right? Um, so when we find the bastion, you generally want to have your gold throwable stuff in your hotbar beforehand, and yeah, like you don't want to be stopping for like a second when in between like just one sprint jump on the way to the bastion. We can double tap the inventory key to like quickly look at where our inventory is, and then on a later sprint jump we can open inventory, shift click gold into our hotbar, and then close inventory. It's just faster, just preemptively doing that. So this housing, it didn't look like the lava was going to be flowing into like the bad spot where it's going to flow everywhere. Um, as far as this, I like throwing down that one gold. Um, these ones, uh, I don't like though because you can loot these chests more safely and without having to distract pigs, losing like barters and potentially losing those pigs to not getting a later chest aggro. The way you loot the chest like that is, I'm gonna try like point it out when it's like a little bit hard to point out from this angle. Like the block here, if you pillar up two, after breaking the block in the ceiling, your head is like in the top, right? And the pigs won't see you when you open the chest, so they won't get aggro. If there's guys like right next to you, they might see you, but if you just throw like a gold throwable at your feet before the chest, before you open it, either of the chests, they'll just get distracted by that, and you'll have enough time to open both chests before you pick up the gold. Just punch that guy. Okay, yeah, we're this so over. Not gonna. I mean, I don't really know what the pace is. Probably, yeah, like mid 3 minutes this time, bro. Um, I mean, you can do the. Is it a pancake spoon? That you're gonna do? Okay. What are we doing? Are we just actually? Oh my god! What is this? So in like obviously RSG and ranked are different, but there's a top-down lava housing route that you can do here. It's like it's pretty slow, like 2 minutes, but it's better than losing seeds. This is just ridiculous. Why? No, I respect playing for it, but like, do we have arrows at least? Because this is a one-shot run, like, because you definitely don't have any explosives, right? Okay, but yeah, we do have one shot, so it's like technically still fine. Okay, I wouldn't be so like so like when you see lava flowing like this, as long as you're far away from where it like drops down, you're gonna be fine. Like you're not gonna have to double stack on the lava to like not start burning. But also, uh, in an RSG run, you shouldn't really be trying to conserve your fire res that much. Like if not using your fire res is going to mean you're going to be playing slower than if you like splash it. Just splash it to like gain the extra pace because you're not playing for consistency. You're playing for just one run that is like that is PB. Unless like yeah, like the only point that doesn't matter is if you're like playing in a BTRL where you need to get like multiple fast runs or something. But yeah, if you're literally just playing for PB, consistency is like less important compared to just raw pace. Again, here I think we only have a. Okay, we have right 15 pearls. We're not zeroing, obviously. I'd just be like using the pearls like as much as possible. Like this is SSV spawner there, low render distance. Like I think you're playing way too safe on this. Like you could easily get like easily at least like 10 strays with some good RNG here, and then you have a spawner there, plus like a 1 minute force split. I don't know what the time is because what the hell is this time? but yeah, of running over and boating onto the fortress, like where are we going? We've seen is that the other spawner? Yeah, like we've seen both spawners. Just pearl onto them. Like don't waste like this 10-15 seconds to like because we don't need to preserve health. We don't need to save pearls. Like if we go below like 13 pearls, just play for 5 rods. Like that's the thing with RSGs. Like you don't need to be consistent all the time. Like if you've got a if being consistent means you're gonna have no extra pearls, don't be consistent. Use your extra pearls and just play for 5 rods, and you'll have like 2 pearls for your end game, and that's gonna save so much time because you don't need the 6th rod, and you still have like all your pearls for your end game. And sure, it's not gonna complete most of the time, but it's a lot faster pace. That's still fine. Okay, yeah, if you misplace, just go on another side. Don't like switch out. I mean, it works, but yeah. Yeah. So you add a spawner. If getting the 6th rod doesn't take much time, like the blaze is there, it's fine. So I'd recommend just crafting eyes before blinding here to like overlap the spawner time, because crafting eyes here or in the overworld, it's not a time save to do it in the overworld, right? Um, you get the spawn anyway, but also, you literally, the only reason you don't want to overcraft eyes is if you're like worried about pearls for 0, really. But yeah, it's like a minor thing. Like if it's muscle memory to not overcraft eyes, that's not really a problem. Yeah, pretty sure we only have 1 fire res, right? Makes sense. Yeah. So I'm curious because we haven't had to do like much inventory management at all, because it was pretty much just like 15 barters total, so we don't really have much stuff to throw out really. But yeah, I'm well, I'm curious if you normally just don't bother throwing stuff out at all really, or if this was just like a one-off thing, because inventory space wasn't a problem on this run at all. That it never would have been a problem playing a run like this. Um, so saving 3 pearls for 0 is like habit, right? But we're one shot. We're playing for one shot here. Like just sprint crawl pearl here. Like you don't need to do this, even though it's like looks like it was 6 blocks. It's still faster to sprint crawl because you're breaking half the blocks. Oh, that's rough. Yeah, you want to it should be muscle memory to change that pie chart. There should be 3 spots, right? After you directly after you leave the bastion is the first spot I'd recommend trying to do muscle memory for. Changing it, because you want to use that pie chart to the mapper's pie chart to find the spawner in the fortress if it's buried, right? Second place is um, doing it on the blind, because like say you blind into the stronghold, you want to have your pie chart changed by then. You don't want to like be standing around in the stronghold changing it, have the mob cap fill up with 70 mobs, like which can mess with your preemptive. And then if you're not going to do it either of those slots, the latest is like re-entering another from the blind. Um, yeah, I'd recommend trying to commit one of those to muscle memory. Ideally, it should be it's like leaving the bastion. You pearl, you fire res, and then you change your pie chart. That's basically how I would say, and then you craft nether bricks. But yeah, that's just getting into like my specific order. But yeah, those are the things you want to be doing when you leave the bastion. Seems like a pretty straightforward spike though. Maybe it's a little bit more to the left. Okay, yeah. Yeah, too high as well. I think what happens here? Do we go for one shot? Yeah, there's not really going to be anything to talk about in this end fight, I'm guessing. Like, I'm assuming you don't half bow because it's RSG and whatever. Um, yeah, so overall, I'd say thinking more about the trees you want to go to before you even before you've like reached the BT, right? So that goes in with as soon as you've figured out the chunk that the BT is in, you kind of want to like just like quick scan where the trees are. Maybe not. You don't even need to really like look around. You just like have like a mental picture of where the closest trees are, where like, and then try and figure out where the best trees are. Right. The ones you went for here were clearly not the best. Like I think the ones over here were much better. Especially since that you left the isle, left the coast in this direction. Like it would have been a lot faster to go over here. Um, the gold pressure plate thing. That's just like, yeah, just having gold on your hotbar when you're entering the nether. Just like insurance against a bottom housing spawn, really. And like bottom treasure a bit. Those are the two ones that are. Actually, and like middle of like the main part of bridge as well. Many like bastion spawns is where you really need to have gold on the hotbar when you're entering the nether. Um, yeah, and then the Crimson Forest movement, and then Warped Forest movement, like placing blocks on the sides to do head hitters, just like a movement tech that, as long as you're not like, as long as you don't have to like look at the terrain and like figure out where you want to go, focusing on stuff like that is generally gonna be faster. Um, yeah, lava housing top down could be a route you might want to learn. It probably would have been too slow to justify here. Like, if you're not going to play this, you'd probably just reset, to be honest. So, yeah, it's fine here. Um, and then I'd say the biggest thing in this run is being more aggressive with with your resources, right? Like going with your fires earlier, to like not worry about taking lava damage and just like full sending your movement out of the bastion. Um, and then not conserving pearls if we know we're not going to be zeroing like ever, because like you're never zeroing on this seed because you don't have enough explosives, and like we could have been pearling to the fortress like around here, and instead we go for like 15 seconds and we're still like not in a good part of the fortress. And I didn't mention this much enough in the first run through, but in RSG particularly, you have to play low render distance on this. Like Soul Sand Valley is on an open floor like this where you can see so much of the spawning area for strays. Like this is so good for. The only way this could be better is if it was like Soul Sand Valley Lava Lake or something. Like this is such a good fortress for 5RD or Dynamic RD. Like, and even if you get like bad strays, you can still go to the spawners later to like mitigate that. Say like you can only force 4 rods from the strays so that you spawn in quickly. You go to this spawner, and you go to this spawner, you pretty much will have 5 rods at least, probably 6 from just the first cycles from both of them. Like, and you get good rates and stuff here, but you wouldn't have need to bank on good rates had you played for like a just like a medium, just like a decent uh dynamic RD here would have would have been good enough here for like a 1 minute fort split, I think. Like as long as you route it properly and like avoid skeletons, you do. This is like an easily like 110 at worst. Um, yeah, I'd say. Oh, and then the not changing pie chart earlier in the run. I touched on it a little bit, but you want to change the pie chart earlier so that you can start measuring instantly on a stronghold enter. The reason why that's good is because your entities take a couple seconds to all spawn in. So the more scans you can get before they've all spawned in, the higher chance that those scans are going to not have entities rendered in those scans. And the reason why that's good is if you've got an entity rendered in your scan, then you don't get a pure spike reading and you get like an entity spike reading. And pure spike readings are a lot easier to pinpoint the portal room with because they're really obvious. Yeah, everything else, it was yeah, it was a good run overall. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. And yeah, thanks for sending the runner.